And feel free, communicate in the chat. When I'm talking, I don't necessarily always get to see what's in the chat. So if at any time, feel free to interrupt me if the same question's asked, or if you need me to go over something again. This is my 22nd year in education. The first 19 years I did spend in the classroom teaching 6th through 9th grade. And I will tell you, as a teacher, I do love questions. Number one reason is that I know that you're trying to take all of this in and formulate it and make it work in your mind. So again, feel free to ask questions. And let me go ahead and share my screen as well. And okay. So again, using only one monitor is different for me. I'm used to having the 2 monitors. So again, what I've got here on slide 2, if you could take a moment to fill out this sign in, and then anytime you're working from this slide deck here, if you click on this link once, it will show you a link here to go to, in this case, a Google form. If you can do that, that would be complete that Google form. And what I like to do then is to show you real time your results from this. I won't put your name up here once I get to the form.
Lisa, could you put up the link for that slide deck one more time?
Yeah, I sure can. And yeah, bear with me, working from one monitor. Woo, how I miss my second monitor. Okay, it's in the chat, and that's the bit.ly link for the slide deck. And what you can do, and I'll show you here in a minute, you can save this to your drive so you can have access to it later if you so.
Just a couple of things, just to like give them colors. You know, have a special ed Zoom meeting. Okay. Oh yeah, it'll have to be quiet in here, but fingers crossed. They don't hear something. Right. Okay. But like maybe you can even ask Todd to be like, Todd, can you do a quick workout with us? Like, we're working on the farm today. Oh, see if she says something like that. Yeah. Have you had a music teacher?
Hey, Philip. You unmuted yourself. Okay, I muted you. And that's one thing with me not working from 2 screens. It just takes me longer to get that up here. Okay, so as you are filling out the sign-in sheet, I do like this. I can see real time what you hope to gain from today's workshop. So someone says how to navigate different features of Zoom. If we get a chance, yeah, I can talk about that. Are you guys, can someone let me know, are you using Zoom instead of Google Classroom? I don't know if someone's putting it in chat or, yeah, maybe someone, okay. Or yes, Zoom, not Google Meets. Okay, yeah, perfect. I think, did I say Google Classroom? I was trying to read and talk at the same time. So you're using Zoom instead of Google Meets. Okay, so I will try to talk about Zoom here as well. But the main goal for today is navigating and learning about Google Classroom. And like Diane said, you won't learn everything here in 2 hours, but hopefully it will give you a start, and or if you've already had a start with Google Classroom, give you, maybe build up your confidence a little bit more and assure you that what you've already been doing, you're on the right track. If I scroll over here, then I also can see how people feel about some of the different tools out there. So again, looking at Google Classroom here in column Q, a lot of people are newbies. There's some solid. So if if you're comfortable, if you're solid, if you've used it before, feel free, unmute yourself if you want to share some strategies that you use. One thing with technology, there's multiple ways to do the same thing. So Don't panic. How you do something in Google Classroom is wrong because it's not how your neighboring teacher does it. Again, you've got some choice. Just like we want to give the kids choice in how they create assignments, Google Classroom allows teachers to have choice as well. So again, I did share the slide deck with you. And Nick, did everyone get the slide deck, or were there any other questions about the slide deck then? Oh,
Yes, I did get that. Yes, and I was able to fill it out. So thank you for that.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I do want to refer to on here slide deck or slide 4, the YouTube channel. This is where you can go. If you click on the YouTube channel, I've linked it to my YouTube channel that you can see all of the recordings from other workshops that I have completed. Again, this is YouTube channel's brand new to me this year as far as me putting out content. It came out of the need. Teachers were saying, hey, like some of you have to leave here at 1 o'clock to jump on for another meeting, to another Zoom meeting. So we will push this recording out. You can always access it here. And then I think maybe Diane will push it out through your email as well. But you can go and jump on some of these others. Introduction to Google Classroom. You can fast forward this if you want to. And if you do go into a YouTube video, let me just show you real quick. One nice feature here is if you go and play a video, if you come down here to the 3 dots, I'm right above the word edit video. And this is just a recording that I pushed out of Google Classroom and Meet. If I click on those 3 dots, then I can open the transcript. So depending on what type of learner you are, if you like listening to people, then that's fine. If you don't, you want to maybe fast forward different parts of the video, you can by jumping around. But if you click on open transcript, and then when it opens transcript here on the right side of your screen, it shows you what I say. So again, if you know that where I'm talking about Google Meet doesn't pertain to you. So you can skip that part and go where I start talking about Google Classroom or I start talking about something else. So you can see here's a transcript that is auto-generated here in when I pushed it out to YouTube. Again, where was that at? That was, I went into a YouTube video, and then it's at the bottom of your screen here. And it's these 3 dots, and that's open transcript. Okay. If for some reason you forget where that is, again, you can go back to this recording to look it up or reach out to one of your colleagues and they can help. If not, you can always email me as well, but sometimes you want to know immediate, or you can maybe even Google it as well. So I wanted to point that out. And then one thing I did forget to tell you, to add this to your bookmarks, all you have to do once you've opened this, let me just go ahead and switch accounts and show you what it's going to look like here. So if I'm a participant like you guys and I go and pasted the URL here, and that's the web address here, and I want to add this to my drive, all I have to do here is right up here at the top of the screen, you have the name of this file. Right here's the star. You could star it if you want, but do you see this triangle symbol sign and this plus sign? That is the sign for Google Drive. Someone the other day said, oh, that looks like a recyclable symbol. So it's this symbol here. If you click on it, you can add this slide deck to your Google Drive. And you might ask, well, Lisa, what's a slide deck? This is Google Slides, and it just, over time, we've named it a slide deck. I don't know where that came from, but again, since most of you are used to Microsoft, Google Slides is similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. And then what this is just called a slide deck. So you can put this in your drive here. If you want to organize it, you can click on My Drive and put it in a certain folder right from this slide deck, or you can come down here and create a new folder. When you come down there and create a new folder, put the name in and then check it to create it, and you can add the shortcut there. So then this will give you access to it later. Okay. And Nick, if you see a lot of things being asked in Zoom, will you, or are you leaving today at 1 as well?
Actually, no, I do get to stay the entire time.
Okay. So if you don't mind helping out, if you see things in chat, feel free to unmute and tell me to either repeat it or go ahead and ask the question too.
Okay.
Because yeah, I'm not working from 2 screens, so this is a little bit different. So then going on here on slide 6, if you want, I haven't talked about this, but I have a collaborative assignment. If you guys know how to do this, you can go ahead and fill out. You should have editing rights. So if you click, I'm on slide 6, and if you click on this link, collaborative assignment right here, and click on the link underneath it, it should take you to a slide deck that you can edit. And then right now you guys are all coming up as anonymous animals because I didn't share this through your Google account at District 87. You are accessing this through a bit.ly link that I created, and I shared it out giving you guys rights to edit this. So if you want, you can choose a slide that no one else is on. And what I did, I created a template that you can put your name, where and what you teach, give us a fun fact about you. You can take a selfie if you know how to, and you can insert, I've put a favorite YouTube video or funny YouTube video, whatever it is. So can you delete anything on these slides that I have here? You sure can. So I don't think, let me, so where I say, put down what do you teach, you can highlight that, delete that, and then you can put down what you teach. You can come up here, delete the word name, and put your name. So again, I don't mean to stress anyone out or raise your blood pressure out there or anything. It's supposed to be something fun and interactive. And this goes to show you, here's another way you can interact with your students remotely. And you don't have to explain everything in the beginning. See what they know, and then what they don't know, then you can go from there and teach what they don't know. So again, if that's not stressing you out too much right now, go ahead and jump into that. And then we'll go ahead, I had some Google Meet stuff on here, but I will delete that because that doesn't pertain to you. So we'll just, I can just delete that to get that off the screen. And we'll just jump into Google Classroom. And then if we have time, hopefully help with the Zoom as well. Again, for some of the teachers out there that feel like they're comfortable and solid with Google Classroom, here on slide 14 and 15, I've got some other resources out there that you might find beneficial or helpful. So feel free to click on those to see what else is out there. And then on slide 15, you know, a lot of you are elementary teachers out there, and sometimes with elementary teachers, you may be putting more money into school supplies and maybe using teachers pay teachers. So what I'm going to ask is, maybe I'll challenge you to see if we can find some of the things that you want off of teachers pay teachers, if we can find free elsewhere. What Google has created is this Google Innovators. And if you become a Google Innovator, you have to have a project that you want to do to change something. So Eric Kurtz is one. There's hundreds out there. And if you click on Eric Kurtz, that will take you to his website. What he created for his project was this blog here sharing out resources to people. So you could probably spend weeks upon weeks with his website to see all of this free stuff he has out there. If you go to his resources tab, here under his resources tab, he's got it by app out there. So if you want to know how to incorporate maybe Google Slides in your classroom some more. You can go into that link on Google Slides, and what he's got is he does presentations that you can see. He's got some interactive presentations with Google Slides. So if you want to create or have your students create an interactive story, he's got a blog post on the Dragon Quest, and then he's got even a sample interactive story down here for you to even use for your students, and your students can create one. Right here with Google Slides, he's got an interactive quiz. He's even got a template he shares with you on Jeopardy. So again, why am I going over some of this stuff right now? Again, I'm trying to differentiate. And for the teachers out there that want to still listen to today's workshop, but already know how they've used Google Classroom, but maybe pick up some new things that in the meantime, they could look at some of these other resources. So again, this was on slide 15. I haven't linked all of these people to their websites. Some of them, most of these offer some free things, but then some of them charge for things as well. So again, take a look here. Feel free to put in chat if there's other people you follow, or might be a Google innovator that has sharing a lot of resources out there for free. Another thing, how teachers pay teachers. Well, there's a website, Teachers Give Teachers, and then also on Twitter, you can look up the Teachers Give Teachers here as well. And then I've got a HyperDoc live binder. So again, feel free to click on those links if you have the time. If not, later on, if you have the time and that interests you, feel free to click on those links. Okay, so I'm just taking a look at chat here. So Kristen's saying some teachers are using Google Meets. Okay. And then, so some teachers haven't used Google Classroom at all, so you need a step-by-step guide to setting up a Google Classroom. I can sure do that. So I can put the Google Meet information back on here then for the teachers that are using Google Meet. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into Classroom and start how to create a classroom, how you can add students if you so choose, or how they can join your class, and talk about the environment here within Google Classroom. But you might be asking, so why are we moving to the Google Classroom? Well, Google Classroom, when I started to use it in the classroom a few years ago, I used it, my students were face-to-face, but this was a learning management system. And the biggest takeaway I got from using this with students was, even if a student was absent from school, they didn't have to rely on me to disseminate the information, to maybe always listen to the lesson. They could, if they had a device and they had internet, they could log into their Google Classroom from anywhere outside of the four walls that we were in our classroom setting, and see and do the work. So right here where I've got here on slide 18, you can post and share all of the online resources, all of your items that you want the students, all the files that you want the students to access. So it's almost like, in my mind, how I put it, it's my lesson plan book. So my lesson plan book, all of the kids can see. Do I have to share everything that I put in Classroom with the kids? I don't. And I'll talk about that some more here, but what can I post out to them? I can post any links or any files to them, whether it's from a Google app or if it's a YouTube video. And then what's nice about this, on the back end, Google Classroom integrates with Google Drive. And then here on slide 19, right within Google Classroom, once they work on the assignment, they can turn that assignment right back into the Google Classroom, and it's all housed right there. So it's, you don't have to worry about finding the files, all the papers in your school bag, everything you access that they've turned in right here through Google Classroom. So you might ask, okay, so how do I go into Google Classroom? So if I come up here to a new tab, I'm at the top of my screen, I hit the plus button. When I hit the plus button, it opened up a new tab for me. couple different ways I can go into Google Classroom. I can type in classroom.google.com here in the Omni box, okay, here on this tab, or I can come over here to the waffle, and with the waffle, I can go down to the Classroom app. So either way I go into it, I get to the same end result. So right here, my Google 101, my St. James 2020, these are all of my classes that I either created as a teacher or that I am a member as a student. Okay. So right here, this one from Holly Kelly, she's the teacher. I think I'm a student in this classroom. And yep, I'm a student. And Holly is a coworker of mine, and she's on here with us as well. I believe she's still with us. That if she wants to jump in at any time, she can as well. So once I'm in my classroom, then you might say, well, Lisa, I'm new to Google Classroom. I don't have any of these class cards here. I don't have any classes. So how do you get started with that? All you have to do is come up here to the plus sign. I am at the top of my Classroom app. It's to the right or to the left of my picture, to the left of the waffle is the plus sign. And that plus sign, I can join a class. I can create a class here. So the students won't have create a class. The students can't create a class. So if this is your first time in Classroom, it may ask you if you're a teacher or a student. You'll need to make sure you mark that you're a teacher. If you accidentally mark that you were a student, you will have to fill out a tech help desk ticket for your, send it off to Jim there, and he will have to change it or on the back end to change you back to a teacher. So if I hit the plus sign and create a class, to create a class, all I have to do is to put a name in it. As soon as I name my class, it is created. So right here, do you see how it's saying this is required and my create is grayed out? As soon as I put a letter there, I can create a class. Now, if you decide to change your class name later, that's fine. But go with a name right now. You can always delete a class too. So if any of you guys want to do a practice class out there right now, feel free to do that. And then as soon as you create a class on the back end, Google creates a calendar with that same name, and they also create a folder in your Google Drive. So if a student wanted to join a class, so even if, I know Diane said she's going to roster your classes here for you, but if for some reason a student's name didn't get in your class, all that student would have to do is click on this plus sign and hit join class. When they click on join class, this is what screen that will come up, and they will need to enter a class code. The class code is usually, I think, 6 or 8 letters long, or it's numbers too, I guess 8 characters, 6 or 8 characters long, and all they have to do is type this in. So what you could do, again, if you needed to have a student join a class, you could share your screen or put the code, throw it out in the chat for them. So again, if I go into my classroom here, where is the class code at? It's right here under the name of my class. And I'm looking, it looks like it's 6 characters long. And so if I click on that broken rectangle there, I can enlarge it. I can even enlarge it and make it full screen. Now, you as teachers using your District 87 account, does anybody know this answer? Can you, or if anybody wants to try, can you try to join my classroom right now? And will it work? If you want to try it and go to the plus sign and put it in, feel free to do that. Is it working for anyone? So it shouldn't allow you in my Google Classroom. Why? Because the safety and security is set up for your students and for your each district, that within your Google domain, District 87, you cannot join another classroom outside of your Google domain. So my domain is the ltcillinois.org. You can't join mine, I can't join yours. And again, that's for the safety and security for the students. And kind of like Diane referred to in the beginning about recording, again, just for the safety and security of the students as well. All right, so I'm moving over to chat. So Kristen asked that she's got 350 students. Yeah, since you're a specialist, how the students should be rostered would be they are rostered in their classes so that they are taking. So if they're an elementary student, they're probably only rostered in one class with that teacher. If they are a junior high or high school student, they will have several different Google Classrooms that they are in because they have several different teachers. So then I think, Kristen, then what you would be maybe a co-teacher or collaborator in those classroom teachers' classes. Is that correct? Do you know?
Sure, I was just wondering if I should be setting up my own Google Classroom for them to access links to what I'm doing instead of me having to do that through all, of the other teachers' classrooms. That's more work for the other teachers. If I had my own Google Classroom separated by like first grade PE in so-and-so's class, first grade PE, other person's class, do I have to add those students in myself to each classroom, or when they roster, is that how it's already set up?
That would be probably a Diane or Jim question to see how they've set that up on the back end. But, if they didn't create classes for you, what you could do is have them join through class codes.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if you saw or did how to join through class codes
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at any time, you could even copy this invite link to send it out to them too.
Okay.
And then you can send it out if they, through their Google accounts so that they've got that. If not, you could put it on the screen as well. And then talking about those class codes, then also up here with the gear in the upper right-hand corner to the left of the waffle, this is the settings for this classroom. So my classroom, the Google 101, as you can see here, you could put a class description here, a section, room, or subject. I've just left it blank, but you have choice that you can edit that at any time. But if I come down here, here's how I can manage my invite codes. So I'm going to jump down here to class code. And then do you see my class code is right here? At any time, if I want to change that, I can come up here where it says enabled. So enabled, it's turned on where the kids can join. I can disable it at any time if I don't want any other kids to join. If for some reason that class code, some of the other kids at District 87 shared it with other kids and they were joining my class, I could disable it at any time, or I can even reset it. So if I reset it, it will just give me a new class code. The purpose of resetting, again, a couple different reasons. Like right now here, that's an O there with this, but sometimes kids or even me as an adult, I get confused. Okay, is that an O or a 0? So at any time you can reset it. You can't set it yourself. Google has control over that, but you can reset it as many times as you want. So again, you can see different class code there. From here, I can display the class code as well. And then again, I've got the invite link here. So with technology, what might be driving yourself or how you might be driving yourself crazy is there's multiple ways sometimes to do the same thing. So don't, worry how you do it might be different than someone else, and that is perfectly fine. So where did I go for the class code? You see it updated it here underneath my name, my classroom name. And then if I come over here back to the gear, and the gear is my class settings for this class. Under the general section is where I've changed it to, I reset it, but I have all of these other options here. And then just click the X, gets me out of settings. It takes me back to the home page or landing page of Google Classroom. And the landing page of it, it always takes you, when you open up your Google Classroom, it takes you to your stream. The stream is where you can have announcements. The students, if you so choose, could chat and help each other. In your case, I know some elementary teachers out there, it's not only are you trying to teach the students, but then you've got to coach the parents and teach the parents as well. So the parents may use this chat to get help from other parents on some assignments that they need help with to help their child. So here on the stream, let me first go over announcements. So right here, if I just click on that, what did I click on? Let me cancel it here. Right here, it says share something with your class. If I click on there, I can just share this with my class right here. What can I share? You can share a morning message or afternoon message here. You can add different files right here to your Google Classroom as well. You can put a YouTube video in, a file, a link, or something from your Google Drive. Usually here with your stream, it's announcements. It's not anything that's going to be graded. You can't post anything here in announcements that you want graded. That's for the Classwork tab. But when I share this with the class, and again, I know we have some special teachers on or specialists, and if you are in a teacher's classroom as a collaborator, and let's say all of these students you don't have. So what you could do if this announcement, if you were sending out to your students and you didn't want all of the students to know, you could just click on the students that you want to send this announcement to. It'll show you one student, and then you put down, again, your announcement here or share anything here to them. As soon as you type in the announcements, you have to have something here in the announcements. So if I type hello, as soon as I start typing something here, I can post this. So if I post this right now, it will go to one student to my Google 101 class. And now right here, let's say I might forget, like, oh, what student did I post that to? Don't worry, it will show you after I post this, it will still show you who you posted to. Even if you posted to 5 students, it'll say 5 students. You can click on it and see who you posted to. So like right here, I posted this assignment to one student. If I click on that, it'll show me what one student I posted that to. So here I'll go ahead and post hello. I can decide if I am not ready to post this. Let's say I want this to go out at 8 a.m. tomorrow when we start class. If I click on this arrow, this drop down arrow next to the word post, I can schedule it out if I want, or I can even save it as a draft. So if I schedule it or save it as a draft, and I decide later on I need to edit that, I can, and I'll show you where you find that. So right here, let me go ahead and post this out. So here it went to Blake saying hello. I can click on one student and it shows me, oh, Blake, in case if you forget who you sent it to. Now, if I saved it as a draft or scheduled it, if I come right up here, right underneath my banner for my classroom and click on saved announcements here, I can see right here who or what I've started to work on. So here it shows schedule, or it shows draft. If I scheduled this out, it would say the word schedule. And then whether it's scheduled or draft, if I want to, I click on it, it brings up the announcement, and then I can edit it and add anything else to it. If I want to, I can just click the X and it takes me back here. If I want to delete it, I can just click on the trash can and it deletes if I don't want that draft anymore. And then it says, hey, are you sure you want to delete it? Yep, I want to delete it, and it deletes. Okay, so here besides sharing an announcement, I said earlier, it could be a place that the kids could communicate and chat back and forth, and or parents, especially for the younger kids that some of you are working with. So if I keep scrolling down here, I've got it set up where students can comment, and then other students can reply to those comments. So Holly posted this on here. She put it out to 2 students here, and then I, as the teacher, can reply back to her. And then just click on the arrow and it will post, and that will go to everyone in the class. So here on the stream, if you have the chat enabled, that is, everyone could see that if you wanted them to. Now let's say I kept it enabled, but Holly's typing, putting things on here that I don't want. What I can do, these 3 dots right here, I can click on those 3 dots and I can move it, this message to the top if I want. I can edit it, or I can delete what she's saying, okay? And the same thing with students. So right here with Blake, so Holly's a co-teacher in this class with me, but Blake is a student. If I click on these 3 dots right here, I can delete what he says, or since he's a student, I can mute him. So let's say, you know, after having conversations with the kids that I've got, and, you know, talking about digital citizenship with them, if I wanted to, I could mute him. And if I click on mute, he can still submit everything, but he can't comment on post here. So if I mute him, it shows that he's muted right here, and that he won't be able to put class comments. At any time, I can unmute him so that he can. Let's say a few days later, he goes, "Oh, Mrs. Schwartz, I know I, you know, haven't been correctly using the chat on stream. So I wanted to know, can I get a second chance?" So yeah, you can always give him a second chance if you want by hitting unmute. And then right here, it shows he's got the ability to type or comment on this post. So where, again, do you have choice in this matter? If you go up here to the gear, and under the gear was to the left of the waffle there, in case if I went too fast. Here's the waffle. To the left of the waffle is the gear. The gear is the class settings. If I scroll down here to the stream, what I'm going to talk about right now is stream and classwork on the stream. So here on the stream, I've got it where students can post and comment. If I don't want them to be able to post and comment here, I can put it where students can only comment. So that they couldn't create a new post, but they could comment on my post or another teacher's post on here. I could also turn off where the students can't post or comment, and I call it chat. And I can have it where the only teachers can post or comment. So again, it depends on what you're comfortable with, what your students are comfortable with. But I will tell you, always in the beginning, I turned it on for my kids, my junior high kids, to try it out, gave them a chance to another place to communicate. And this was during face-to-face time, but some of the students liked this feature because sometimes they were too afraid to raise their hand and ask a question in class, and they were more apt and they felt comfortable asking the question here via the stream.
Hey, Lisa, can I interject here?
Yeah, you sure can.
Hey guys, I'll turn my video on here so you can see me. Lisa and I are actually in the same office today, which has never happened. I'm Holly Kelly. I'm another RETC. I took over some of Lisa's area because she had a huge territory. Also here with the little ones, there's a great lessons that you can look up online for how to be a good digital citizen. I always recommend for that, Lisa, scroll up a little bit if you would. Just on this page, just scroll up to the settings, keep going. Right, oh, too far, go down a little, sorry, right there. or maybe a little further, I'm sorry, that option of being able to have students comment, I always toggle that off until, right there, until we have that conversation with students about being a good digital citizen and how to comment on each other's work. So sometimes you have those different lessons on how to ask questions, how to comment, and how to gather more information. Once we learn how to do that as a class, we then go and can comment on student work. So collaboration is really important with students, and especially with the stream. But like I said, right now, I would, as a teacher, I always left that off. And then I clicked it on when we had that option after having that conversation with students. And just to piggyback, Lisa, if you go back to stream, I know that there's some elementary people here. Click out of class settings for 1 second, Lisa, and just go to the stream. The stream where you can add announcements, for you planners out there, I absolutely love the feature to be able to add all of your classmates' birthdays in there, and you can push them out with the dates. So if it was Kylie's birthday, I could do happy birthday, Kylie. I could insert a YouTube video singing happy birthday. I could insert a Bitmoji image of me saying happy birthday or me singing happy birthday. And then instead of clicking post, I would then just click as schedule under the drop down. Yep. And I could schedule it for her birthday. So it could get pushed out to Kylie on a Saturday, on a Sunday. We can push it out to the class or just Kylie. That schedule announcements is so amazing for that feature to be able to push out those dates that you already know. For example, state testing is next week, get ready. I could do that all at the beginning of the year when I have my agenda book. And then I'll just put in one tidbit. I personally, Lisa on this, she has announcements, and I know that she'll go over that with you. Announcements and classwork posted to the stream. I always, and from what the feedback is from some people that I've heard, a lot of times it's easy for the little ones to just have announcements on the stream and then all of the classwork under the class tab. So Lisa, I'm sure you'll go over that a little bit. So I'll let you kind of talk about that, but you know, feel free if you guys have questions, I'll keep an eye on the chat, and it's nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Holly. Perfect. Yeah, and that's what's nice about it. Holly and I differ on some things that we would do on the stream, and you have the choice. It's okay. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You just do what works best for you and your students and how your brain works. But you want to make sure you convey it to your students how you've got this set up. So again, I've got my chat turned on because I have it turned on, and I like to have the kids go ahead and start chatting here and posting comments so that they can interact with each other, and then I teach digital citizenship that way. The other thing Holly started to talk about was the assignments. So again, if I go back here to the gear is my class settings, and we were just here on the stream. That's what Holly was just talking about, how she, for the little, sometimes they have that turned off. I will tell you, during remote learning, teachers found it helpful, even for the little kids that they work with, that they turned it on because the parents utilize the commenting part or the chat part here in the stream. That parents would sometimes say, okay, and reach out to other parents for help. It wasn't always on the teacher, because not only do you have to worry about the content that you're teaching, but you're also coaching the parents there. So here, also here on classwork on the stream, this is where I put show condensed notifications. Some teachers choose to have it hidden altogether. You have that option. Some teachers show attachments and details there. Again, that is your choice. My suggestion with that, click on them, difference to see what happens. And it updates real time. So I've got it anytime I post a new assignment on my classwork tab. On the back end, Google puts a condensed notification here for the students. So here on stream then, this is where the students can comment back and forth to get help. Sometimes I use the word chat. they can also then see announcements here that you put down. And I liked Holly's thing about putting the birthdays. I think that's another way to help you manage your classroom. And then another thing here, when Holly was talking, I also got a chance to look at the chat. Someone asked to co-teach. Yeah, you can co-teach in classes, and I'll show you that here in a second under the People tab. But for some of you who are using Google or using Zoom instead of Google Meets, yes, this is where you can post your Zoom link right here for the kids to access. And again, if you want to post that at a certain time every day, you can go ahead and get it scheduled out. Or if it's the same Zoom link all the time, what you could do then is, if this wasn't at the top, you could always move it to the top. So if you posted the Zoom link here and it's 5 or 6 things down on your screen here, you can again click on the 3 dots and move it back to the top at any time if you don't have to create a new Zoom link every time for the kids to join. I was thinking there was another question in chat that maybe I didn't get. So Lindsay asked if for specialists, if we make our own Google Classroom, how do we get our classes or kids that information codes? So again, I don't know if you have a specific time that you're meeting with those kids. If so, you can share your screen and get them the code that way. You can copy the link of the code, send it out through their Gmail accounts, and or put it in chat if you are in a Zoom or a Google Meet. Or, as you can see, lots of different options. If there's another classroom teacher that you work with, that classroom teacher could, post it on their classroom announcement, which is their stream, and then the kids could join by putting in that code into Google Classroom. So how do we get those codes to the students? Yeah, so depends something. So first off, how do we get the codes to the students? Again, just what I said there, many different ways you could. And then can you pin something to the top? Yeah, just move it back to the top like I just showed you. And then, yeah, Holly says you can email or mail home the codes. Yeah. So I think the easiest way, again, if you're working with another teacher, maybe they can put it in their classroom, or once they join a Zoom link, you could have them join your classes live when you're doing a Zoom with the students. So with the Stream tab, don't forget under settings, you have choice of how it looks. So we've got it with the stream and the classwork on the stream. If you change this real time, if I go and hide my notifications right away, I've got to save. So if you do change something here, make sure you hit save. And then I hid my notifications, so you don't see my notifications. What notifications were those? Every time I posted something on the Classwork tab, then I had the notification there. Again, it was just another way for students to see that I posted something new in Classwork. Again, like Holly was saying, it's your choice how you want to do it. You can always try it one way and then change it with with a click of a button, going up here to the gear and going to settings. Also here on stream, you'll see here on the left-hand side, you've got some upcoming dates of things that are due. So due tomorrow is the lesson 21, due Thursday, lesson 14, it's the get to know you activity. And do you see on this one, I made a typing mistake here. So at any time you can go and change that. So if I click on that right from the screen, this is the teacher screen, I can go to the instructions and I can go right here to the 3 dots and I can go and edit that. So don't panic that you can change almost anything that you do here on Google Classroom. Like Diane said in the beginning, try different things, you can't hurt it. When you're interacting with your students and parents out there, let them know you're learning this as well, and they'll see you not only as a teacher, but as a learner. And then if they know something you don't, then that might empower them to feel good about themselves if they can share some information with you. So right here, I updated get to know you activity. And then if I go back here to my classroom, to the stream, if I click on Google 101 here, it'll take me back to the landing page. It'll take me back to the stream. And here, real time, it updated my mistake here. So what are your questions about stream? Feel free to unmute yourself, or if you have any suggestions. I know we have some teachers out there who've used it before. Can you give us some feedback on what worked for you and your students in the classroom for stream? Do I have any of the coaches on? I forget what, if that's your exact title. If any of the coaches are on and want to talk about what they see with working with some of the teachers here at District 87. You guys are a quiet bunch today. All right. So if you have anything else to say, yeah, feel free to put it in chat. So I'm going over here to chat. Mindy's asking, will the students already be in the classroom? That's what Diane was talking about here in the beginning, that they are trying to get the classrooms rostered. And as soon as they get that pushed out, the students should be already in your classroom. So yeah, great question. If for some reason it's not, all you have to do is share the code with them, and then they can put the code in the classroom app and then join your classroom that way. All right, so I'm going to switch back here to my slide deck here. So for those of you who are brand new to Classroom, so what I've been talking about here is on the stream. So again, for those of you who would like to read, maybe you guys already saw this here. Here's some things here, how you can, what you can put on the stream. Here are some pictures kind of going over what's on the stream. And then here on slide 27, I've got a challenge here for you. I'll give you a few minutes here to try this out. Again, I'm not trying to increase anyone's blood pressure, but if you could go ahead and make a practice class and see and explore what you can do on the stream. If you want to do this step by step, you can. If not, you do play around with it however you see fit. So Amy, I see your question there in chat. So you're asking, if I start a classroom, can it be merged? Yeah, with the district created one. What you can do is you can reuse your post that you've created in your classroom. Does that make sense, Amy?
No.
Okay. So what I will show you that. I'll give teachers a minute here to practice with the stream, and then when I come back, I will show you how to reuse a post.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if I forget, you unmute and you interrupt me, okay?
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
Lisa and Amy. I think, Amy, what you're asking is if we created one now, if we could just take that entire thing we created and smush it together with whatever the district had. And I don't think you can take everything at once. Is that like what you're wondering, Amy?
I'm just saying that if I were to create a classroom now, would it be replaced with the one the district's creating? Or
No, it'll still be there. You'll have yours and what the district creates.
It would be like an extra, like a test
would-
one maybe.
So it would be in my best interest just to wait till I get theirs.
You know what? There's pros and cons on that, Amy.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start talking here. So here at my landing page of Google Classroom app, what I've got all of my classes here. So what you're going to see is the classes you've created here, and then the classes the district has rostered. So if, let's say the rubrics classroom is the one that the district created and rostered, and it has all of my students in it. Okay, so if I started a class for that same classroom, what I could do is reuse post from it. So what this classroom is, here's another option you could do. You could create like a master class, like kind of like your plan book. And if you don't have to have students in this. So this is a class you could go ahead and start creating right now that you don't have students in. And then from this classroom, I can reuse post from this classroom. So it doesn't matter, if I don't want to make a mistake and go ahead and post something out to the kids and I really don't want them to have it, if I put this in my master class, I don't have to worry about that. And again, some teachers do it this way. At any time when you are creating new classes, if you want to start getting in the habit of putting the year the classes are, so that you can archive them and reuse post from them from years to come if you want. But again, that's with Google, with a lot of the apps out there, you've got choice on how you want to use it. And in this case with Google Classroom, you've got choice on how it best meets your needs. So again, this Google Master class right here is just what it says. It's a master class. It's got where I went ahead and I had time and I put a bunch of lessons there. And then when I want to, I can pull those lessons there and pull it out, push it out to my Google 101 class. So I don't have to, go day by day to get the assignments all ready to go. And hopefully that will make a little bit more sense when I go into the Classwork tab here. Have I confused? Oh, Amy, what?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that make kind of a little sense, or did I confuse
Yes.
you more? Okay.
Oh, that made sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, some teachers might see that as more work. Again, it allows for differentiation. So the Classwork tab, this is where you are going to be pushing out your assignments. This is where you can add a bunch of files for them. So how this looks here, anytime you see the plus sign, you can create something new or add something. So no matter what app you are in the G Suite apps for education, that plus sign lets you add something new or create. So if I click on that, what can I do? Within Google Classroom, I can create a new assignment, a quiz assignment, question, material, or reuse post. So this kind of what Amy or some of you might be doing is creating some posts right now, and you can reuse them into your rostered class that Diane was talking to you about that isn't pushed out yet. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. You can also create topics right here. So when I hit create topics, when I create the topic, think of your topic as a label or a folder. So I created an insert learning topic. So all of my assignments that deal with the extension insert learning are right here. All of my assignments that cover the farm are right here. All of my questions that I've pushed out questions to the students are right under this topic. So I can click on each topic here and I'll have the different assignments. As you can see, I can put by chapter, I can put it by quiz or practice, I can put it by subject level. So again, you got choice on topic. I will tell you, when some teachers who use Google Classroom during the school year and then went remote with their students, during remote learning, they changed the topics to the week. So the week of August 10th, the week of August 17th. So, and then they put all of the assignments under the week. Can you do it even that way when you're face-to-face? You can. You will do what works for you and how your brain organizes things. So right here, then if I go in, let me go ahead, since Amy asked this question, let me go ahead and talk about that. So create and then reuse post. What the reuse post will allow me to do. So let's say I'm in the classroom that the district rostered for me, and I already had this other classroom that I started some assignments. So if I click on this "We Are the New 7 Wonders of the World" assignment, then if I select that, and then at the bottom of the screen here, where it says create new copies of all attachments, I want new copies of all attachments from this post, and I want to reuse. So it will bring up reusing a post here, and it brings up, here's the assignment. Here's what the title is, what are the new 7 wonders of the world? Here's my instructions. And then the files that I added to it are right there. I don't have to go and add new files. Now, let's say I discovered something else that I want to add here. I can. So even though this was a reuse post, I can go here and add anything else that I want. I can go to my Google Drive, and if I have any other files from my Google Drive that I want to add, I can just click on it and add. If there's a screencast that I have, if I'm explaining how to do something and I recorded myself using Screencastify, I can click on that and add that to my assignment as well and hit insert. And then right there, here it's showing it's a video. What do I want students to do with the video? I just want them to view the file. Okay. And then over here on the right-hand side, again, I'm reusing this post. I'm in my Google 101 class, but if I want to add it to a couple different classes, I can. But the minute I add it to another class, watch what happens to all students. So let me select one more class. So it's showing I've selected 2 classes. What happened to all students there? Some of you are saying it grayed out, okay? So if you select more than one class at a time, it will gray that out. You can't select certain students. So if you want to push this out to several different classes, but you need to select just certain students from that class, all you have to do is reuse the post from one class to another, and then you can go and select the students. So again, I can uncheck all students, and if I only want to send this to a couple students, then I can send it to a couple students. And what's nice about this, it could look all the same, you know, even back when we're face-to-face with the kids in the classroom, the kids right next to each other, they might not know that it's different because it's still the same title. You might have just put some accommodations in there, or they might have you reduce their assignment. So again, right here, I can assign them points. So let's say it's 10 points, or if it's ungraded, put ungraded. And then right here where it says due, I can put down the due date. Now, my experience with due date, sometimes I wouldn't put the due date here, and the kids or parents wouldn't realize that they had to complete this. So my suggestion, always put a due date, but you can always change it. So if I say that, oh, it's going to be due the 21st, I can put a time on here as well. And again, when it comes to 21st, if I see kids need more time, I can go back in here and edit the assignment and change the due date to next week. Again, I put it under the topic insert learning because when I reuse the post, that's the topic it was under. If I want to put it under a different topic, I can, or I don't even have to put it under a topic. Okay. The topic, think of the topics as folders, and it's under those folders where they'll find those assignments. I can also add a rubric in here, or I can even check for plagiarism. Now, what this is, it's an originality report that checks for plagiarism, and with your Google Classroom account, you get up to five reports that you can do for each classroom. If you're in the enterprise account, and most school districts aren't, but the Google's premium version is called the enterprise account, and that you would get unlimited. So if you hear some teachers talking that they have unlimited, or you see a post out there, if you're in a Facebook group and they're saying that they have unlimited originality reports, that's because they're in the enterprise version of the G Suite apps for education, okay? Then if I come up here to assign, again, I can assign it right now, or if I click on this drop-down arrow, I can schedule it out, or I can save it as a draft. Just like I could do on the stream with announcements, I could schedule it or save as a draft. So let's say I'm ready, I'll go ahead and assign it out, and the kids will get that. Now, I put that under the insert learning topic here. And again, I could click there to find it, or I can scroll down and find it. So as you can see, the more you use Classroom and you post things to it, it could be a lot. So again, here I've got what are the new 7 wonders of the world. It shows when it's due. If I want, I could move this to the top of my topic here of insert learning. I can even drag and drop it. So if I move it up here, I can drag and drop it. Whoops. And as you can see, I'm just moving it to the top. Okay. So this was under the classwork page. Now under stream, here on stream, I turned off the condensed notifications. I turned it to hide. But if I turn it back on then to show condensed notifications, then you'll see right here, it's showing, hey, the teacher posted a new assignment and then sent it out to 2 students. So let me go to Blake's Google Classroom here then. And I go to his Google 101 class. Okay. So right here, this is Blake's account. This is the student account. It shows that the teacher posted a new assignment. Can Blake go to the new assignment right here? He can. Or if he knows where I posted it in classwork, he could go to the classwork to find. So if you see, this is where I put it, due August 21st. So he could click on it there. Could he click on it from the stream? He could. So he sees the teacher posted a new assignment. He could click on it there and it takes him to the assignment. So on this screen, it shows the student the topic. Here's that it's worth 10 points. Here's when it's due. And then he could click on these right here then to interact with them. So here, this is him reading about what are the new 7 wonders of the world. This is an extension called Insert Learning, and this allows the teacher to insert questions or even put a poll within the web page. So here the teacher asks, which wonder would you have voted for? So this allows the teacher to make a web page interactive for the students. So you don't have to have a Google form or another worksheet or anything out there for them. Okay, can you guys not see my screen right now? Okay, can you see my screen here then? So here with this web page, I inserted a question right here for then the students to interact here. And then they could click on it right from here to interact with it. They don't have to go to another link or, you know, again, a worksheet or anything. I could also put it here that they could interact by responding to this question and putting their response right here. So as you can see, here's a couple of different answers that you can interact that way. You can also take a picture, and then you could also do a recording, and they could put it in here. So with this assignment here, they don't have to turn anything in necessarily, they just work on it right from here. So when they are done, then they also have this video if they need to watch it, if it gave them instructions how to do the assignment, especially with your littles out there, that, you know, if they have trouble reading or can't read yet, you could tell them by creating a video and sharing with them what to do, and then they could click on mark as done. If they needed to add or create anything from here, they could. So if your students had to create maybe a Google drawing based off of the new 7 wonders, maybe they had to come up with their new 8th wonder, they could come over here to add or create. They could have created it outside of classroom, but if they want to create something new within the classroom environment, they can go out and click on one of these 4 apps. And if they click on create drawings, what's nice about this within the classroom, within this assignment, they can click on this assignment right there. And do you see what happened? It put their name up here and the name of the assignment. Right here, it shows them, here's their work. And then right here, they can put down information, you know, drawing their new 8th wonder of the world or whatever it may be. And so then when they're done with it, so let me just go ahead and put a shape in here. Okay. Then when they're done with it, then they can turn it in. But while they're interacting with this assignment, if they have questions, they can ask questions or send you comments right within the screen. They can put a class comment here. This will go to everyone on the stream and for class comments. So if they want to ask everyone, I need help, and whatever specific question they have, they can put right here and post it. It'll go to class comments. Or if Blake's doesn't want everyone to know that he needs help, he can send you, the teacher, a private comment and post it right here. So that was Blake's. So if I go back to the teacher account, so here on the teacher account, it's showing there's a class comment here. Why is it showing up here? That because this is where Blake posted a comment that he needs help. Everyone will see this. So again, does he have to put it here on this class comment part that will end up on the string? He doesn't. He could put it in the assignment. So here on the teacher side, when you click on the assignment, right here, you can see right over here, Blake posted a comment that he needs help. So if I go here to Blake's assignment, I can click on it. Even though he hasn't turned it in, since you shared it out to them or to your students through Google Classroom, you can see real time what they're doing. So here's Blake's work. I can pull up. He hasn't turned it in, but I can see he started. I might be able to help him to see what he needs help with. So right here, he says he needs help. So then I can reply back to him that I can see that you got some of your work done. And, you know, I might be able to troubleshoot and give him some suggestions on what he needs to do. Now, right here, when I say right here, I'm at the right of the screen where my cursor is, where it says private comments. Now, if I come up, if I go up a ways, right where my mouse is, I've got 2 icons here. I've got the grading icon and I have the comment bank. And here on the comment bank, if you are finding that you are sending the same comments over and over to the kids, you can put them and add them to your bank. And when you add them to your bank, then all you have to do is come here to this icon and copy it to your clipboard. Go back to the grading icon, and you can paste it and then post it here. And it's posting, and then Blake will also see that. So you will need to take time to explain how the kids interact within Google Classroom as well. And don't panic, you'll learn as you go. Your kids will learn as you go, but sometimes teachers say that when they put comments here, the kids don't see the comments. Again, take time to show the kids that they can send you private comments here and that you can send them private comments back. And then also right here, so I've got the grading icon here and the comment bank icon. If I wanted to put this in a separate tab, I could click this and it would go into a separate tab up here. If I want to put a grade on this now, I could. Even though he hasn't turned it in, I would caution you in doing that because you want to get the kids in the habit of hitting turn in. Because even though Blake hasn't turned it in, you can see what he's done and you can give him points if you want. Okay, so let me switch over back to Blake's. So here's Blake's. There were no additional class comments here. If there were, it would show up here as well. But on the private comments, do you see where then he can see what the teacher posted for a private comment? And the private comments are only between the teacher and the student. Okay. And then let's say he goes ahead and turns it in. He thinks he's done, hits the turn in button and hit the turn in button. And then once he turns it in, he's like, oh my, I forgot to do something. So what he does, he clicks on this Google Drawings and he needs to go and edit something. Does anybody see the difference between this one and, oh, it expired here. Let me just go back to this one. This one is showing it is view only. As soon as the kids turn in an assignment, the ownership changes to the teacher so that the kids can't go in and edit it while you're grading it. So if for some reason he needs to go back and change something, he can click on Unsubmit. When he clicks on Unsubmit, then he should have rights to make the changes to it. So let me go ahead and reload this page. And do you see how view only is not there anymore? He has the rights to make the changes. He can edit it now. But the minute he turns it in, it gives the ownership to the teacher. So let's say he made the changes and he's going to turn it back in. Okay. So if he comes, I'm switching back to the teacher account. And here on the teacher account, if I go, I still have this assignment up. I can see right here on the right-hand side of the screen under the word files. Do you see where it says see history? If I click on see history, let me reload the page here. It shows that it was turned in on August 18th at 2:01 p.m. and I see history. It shows me when it was assigned to him, when he turned it in, when he unsubmitted it, and when he turned it back in. Okay. So again, right now, Google doesn't have it set up that you can't turn that feature off. Like if you've used a Google form before, you can, once they submit it, they can't, go back in and edit that. As far as with Classroom, once they turn it in, they do have a chance to unsubmit it if they need to. I just switched over here to look at chat. Yeah, Amy asked a great question. So right now, Google hasn't created a student account for teachers to see the student side of it. So the workaround, a smaller district I was working with, they created a student account for each teacher. I've only, with all of the districts I work with, I've only worked with one district that has done that. How I did it when I was in the classroom was I would ask a student, it was face-to-face. When we were face-to-face, I would ask a student to see their screen, to see what it looks like on the student side. What you could do, whether it's through Zoom or Google Meet, see if you can meet with one of your students, and especially for the little ones, you might have to have the parents jump on too, to see if they can share their screen so you can see it. I know it's not ideal, but that is one workaround that you can see what that is. And Amy, you wouldn't be able to create a generic account because your district or any district out there is only people within your Google domain could join. As I'm saying this, Amy, here's another way you could work around would be have a teacher join your class as a student. So then you could see the student side of it. You would just have to collaborate with them so you could see it on their end. So how do you do that? So if I go back here, let me just go back to my home page of my Google 101 class. If I go to people, so right here, I can add collaborators. I can add other teachers within District 87. And did my screen just stop sharing again? Okay. All right. If that keeps happening, sorry, I don't always catch that. I don't know what's going on there. Let me go back and share it again. So I hope someone will speak up. Okay, so I'm back at the People tab. I can add other teachers. If I add a co-teacher, they can do everything in the class that I can except one thing. And anybody know what that one thing is that other teachers can't do? The other teachers in your class, the only thing that they can't do is delete the class. They can do everything that you can in the classroom, but delete the class. And it says right here. So again, if you forget about that, don't panic. When you go to add a teacher, to invite a teacher to your class, it'll say there. But here's right here to invite students. Here's another way you could invite students. So in case if you want, as a teacher, want to be a student in another teacher's classroom, click on that person with the plus sign and then type their name or email. So if Amy wanted Nick to be in her class as a student, or Nick wants to be in her class as a student to see how Amy's got Google Classroom set up and how she's doing things, she could invite Nick. Nick would have to then accept that invitation.
Would it allow me to sign up as a student in my own class?
You know what? Try that.
Okay.
And yeah, see right here, I'm just trying it for myself. I'm
grayed out.
Yeah, I'm grayed out. But I like that question, Amy. I never thought about that.
Okay.
So yeah, as of right now, maybe, yeah, get another teacher, or some other teachers talked about if they have kids in the same district that they've been able to add their own kids to their classroom. And so then they can just go into their kids' classroom and check out how their classroom looks from the student side of it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. So this is under the People tab. And then one other thing under the People tab, besides teachers and students, so you can see who's all there. If I go down here to Blake here, I can at any time, so if I select a student, I can perform actions. I can email Blake from here, or all of my students. I can remove them and I can mute him. So I could mute him on stream. I can also mute him here on the People tab. So same thing, if I want to select all teachers or all the students here, I just click on this check mark here. It selects all, and here's the actions. I can remove them all, I can mute them all, or I can email them all. Okay. And then another thing here, if I clicked on Wendy's name here, here's another way I can see what, if Wendy's sitting in class or, remote learning saying she has everything turned in. I can quickly go here and look at all of her assignments. I can look at everything she's turned in. I can look at everything that's been returned to her and what she has missing. So it shows me, oh, Wendy, you got some work to do, okay? And then I could have a conversation with her. If I go to all will also show what it has been assigned to her. Assigned, if it doesn't have a due date or if the due date hasn't passed, it will be under assigned. If the due date has passed, it will be missing. And again, I went to the People tab and I can click on each student here to bring that up as well. I want to give you, I know we've got only 20 more minutes here together, and your time is very valuable, especially here at the beginning of the year. If you want to see what you know, if you go back to the slide deck, I've got a couple different challenges here on slide 33 and 36 regarding the Classwork tab, if you want to look at that. Or if people have questions, they want to unmute and ask or ask in chat. I want to have time for question and answer as you are starting the school year, if you so choose, and if you have questions. If not, I can keep talking. But I know that's not always how people learn, is by sitting there and listening.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
So if I assign a student a video to watch, will there always be a turn-in button, or how does that work?
Yep, great question. So if you assign things to students that doesn't make their own copy, or they don't create, like I created that Google drawing, it will be marked as done. So let me show you. Let me go into Blake's and show you here. So I think this one, so this seesaw activity here that I shared out to him, this was a link for them to go from, that I linked out from Seesaw that he can click on and go and complete it in Seesaw. There's nothing he has to turn in here to Google Classroom. So what he needs to do is then just mark as done. If he doesn't mark as done, then it will show up missing if it's after the due date. It's letting him know when he marks it as done, you didn't attach work. Not always will they have work to attach. So then it will just show you, the teacher, that it's done. So mark it as done, and then then it shows he's done with it. So then I know just to go out to the Seesaw app to see what he's completed, and I grade it from there. Sometimes, even though I push this out to the students, and let's say it was just a video like you asked, again, if you didn't attach any other files there or make a copy, it would just, he or she would just put mark as done. At any time, Blake or the students could go and add or create anything right here from this assignment. So if he had already created something outside of this assignment, he could go to his Google Drive and add it here. He could link it here or file. He could even go from Seesaw and link what he did in Seesaw and link it here, if that's how I had it set up.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Great question. So Amy, I'll talk on that a little bit more. So if I go to create and go to my assignment here, so you originally asked about a video. So if I go to add and put a video there, and I'll just get a video from Gary Brooks. And I'll select one here. Hit add. do you see how it says YouTube video 3 minutes? Now, I need to also just put a title. I'll just put example. If I go and add something from my Google Drive, I know we didn't get to talk on that about that introduction slide deck here, but let me just go and add this assignment that Blake did. It's in my Google Drive right now because I own it since he's turned it in and I haven't returned it to him. And then what I can do then here with this Google Drawings, I can have it where the students view the file or edit the file. If I mark it as those two, this won't add it over there in Blake's assignment box. But if I make a copy for each student, it will put it over there in Blake's assignment box. He needs to do this. And then it will be, the turn in button will be turned on. The turn in button won't be turned on if I just have him view it or edit it. So if I go and have him edit it, let me just assign it. Oh, so I assigned it to everyone. I can quickly, if I go back, click on it and edit, I put it to all students. I can click off of it, put it to Blake, and then it saves it. So if you make mistakes, for the most part, you can go back in and change almost everything. There's a couple things you can't change. So let me go back here to Blake's. The stream was updated, so it shows him, hey, he's got a new assignment here. He can get it from here or go to the classwork page. But sometimes if you don't let the kids know where what you put the things under, it might be kind of confusing to them. And so right here, what I did, I shared out a video and a file that they can edit. So Blake could click on it and edit this. Any student I sent it out could edit it. Then when he's done, I could mark it as done. But if I changed it to make a copy, it would be over here on the right-hand side. And it would show turn in. Are you seeing that Blake's window?
We're seeing your window, I think.
Okay. For some reason today when I'm switching back and forth, it is pausing the sharing. That's never happened. Well, I'm usually on 2 screens, so maybe that is the difference. So thanks for your patience. Okay, so here's Blake's screen then. So this is an editable file. He can change and add things he wants on this at any time. When he's done with it, he would have to mark as done. If I had made a copy of this for Blake, it would be over here on the right-hand side under your work, and it would say turn in. So that's the difference. And my suggestion, play around with it, see what happens. You'll learn as you go. You will make mistakes. I remember back probably 4 or 5 years ago now, using Google Classroom for the first time in my classroom, that I had shared assignments out to the kids, questions to answer. And 1 minute they would say, oh, Mrs. Schwartz, all my questions are gone. Well, what I had done, I had given them editing rights to the document, and they were, deleting the questions, not knowing that they were deleting the questions for everyone and not just them. So I quickly learned what to do, and we went from there, and I just pushed out a new copy. So it's a process, it's a journey that you are on here. What are your other questions or anything else you want me to show you?
Lisa,
Yeah.
so let's say in my class, for example, I do a DOL every day.
Uh-huh.
So first thing in the morning, is there a way to, I've heard that it's important that somewhere you click something that says to make a copy for each student. That way each student gets their own DOL to do. Does that sound correct?
Yeah. So great question, Nick. So under assignment, if I create assignment, if I want to put DOL here, put the title, any instructions here, if I go to add, and if it's in my Google Drive, I can get it from my recent, I can go from upload or my drive. And I'll just pull the Screencastify ideas here. And let me insert it. And what you're talking about then is make a copy for each student. So the difference of make a copy for each student and edit file is when you edit the file, all of the students have editing rights to it real time right now. Make a copy for each student is they aren't collaborating on it. It will make a copy for each of the students you push it out to. So what this will do, make a copy for each student. It's not collaborative. They only see what they do on it. So again, I'll just push it out to Blake here, and I'll just go in and assign it. And then if I switch over here to Blake's account, you will see then that he's got his own copy.
Okay, and then now I typically do these DOLs each day. So would you suggest that I make the due date? So like, let's say Monday, August 31st DOL. I make the due date be Monday, August 31st. So that would give them the entire day to, finish that assignment, which is only 5 questions. So I'm sure they would, but let's just say that it gets to Tuesday, September 1st, and the student didn't do and I had made the due date be Monday, August 31st. So it's Tuesday, September 1st. Does the student get some type, or their parent get some type of email from Google Classroom letting them know that it's late?
They can. And what I mean by that, they have control over the settings. So just like the students, just like the teacher has control over settings, the student does too. So in your teacher account, if you go up here to the 3 lines, it's up in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. It's to the left of the title of your classroom is the main menu. If you or the child goes down here to the gear, which is settings, they have control over email notifications. So what can they get? They can turn on all email notifications, or they can have control over by turning certain things on or off. So every time you return work and a grade from your teacher, this is on the student side, they can get an email. If they don't want that on, they can turn that off. If work and other posts from teachers, they can turn that on or turn that off. If they, once they start using Google Classroom more, they'll get a feel of where they look for things. So here, even in the beginning, if you just put out different assignments to give them practice turning in an assignment, give them, a chance to explore about marking it as done. So what I mean by that, let me get out of this here. But under the 3 lines is the main menu and the settings, and they can have control over that. But if I go back here into my classroom, then if I go, I'm sorry, it's under the 3 lines again. If I go, this is on the student side, go to do. On the teacher side, I think it's to review. Here's another way the students can see what's missing. So here's to do. Here's all classes, what they have missing. If they want to go class by class, they can see what's missing just from the Google 101 class. they can see what is done from that class, what they turned in and what their grade is. So I don't know if, Nick, if that helps you, having that area there as well.
Okay, yeah,
And again, for anyone who's watching, it was the 3 lines here is the main menu. It was to the left, up here in the left-hand corner. And if I go to do, I will get this up here. So this is another chance to, again, you know, your students are learning how to navigate here, Google Classroom as well. They can choose what classes, one class at a time to see everything they're missing, or they can show all classes at once. They can also see what they need done or what's completed and seeing if there is a grade there that's been returned from the teacher. Because until you return an assignment, the students will not see their grade. So even though I might have graded this assignment here that he turned in and I put a grade on it, I need to make sure I return it to them so that they can see their grade.
okay.
So yeah, great question. Another thing I said at the beginning is how Google Calendar and the class drive folder is created on the back end. So if I go to Google Calendar right here, this is Blake's, the student side. He's got a calendar here, and then he also has other calendars. He has a calendar for each classroom he's in. So in my Google 101 class, he can see what assignments are due. In his other class, he can turn them on or off at any time. And he can see his assignments due. So here's yet another place they can look. You can even share this calendar out to parents by making the calendar public so that they can access this. So public URL to this calendar, you could send this link out to your parents as well. And where was that? So in the calendar app, if you click on the 3 dots next to each calendar and go to settings, and under settings, if you scroll down to get the URL, the public URL to this calendar, it's right here. So this is, you could share this with parents as well. And then also, as soon as you created your classroom folder or your classroom for your class, it will create a folder on the back end. So this is Blake's Google Classroom. And even though this was Google 101, I originally named it Differentiation Workshop. So if you do change the name of your classroom, you know, a few days after, a week after, a month after, in your Google Drive folder, it doesn't change. So if you want to change it, you can rename it at any time by clicking on Rename right here. And then here in the Differentiation Workshop or the Google 101 class, it has all of Blake's work. And he didn't have to put it in there. It just put it in there on the back end for him. So personally, I get everything from the Classroom app, but just know that it also integrates with Calendar and with the Drive as well. Now, I know someone said at the beginning that they're going to use Google Meet within Classroom. And yeah, here you don't have to worry about creating a link or posting the link here. Like some of you who are using Zoom, you've got to post the link here. Here, if you use Google Meet, all you and your students have to do is go to this Meet link and join. Now, it's saying something went wrong. This is the student side of it. The students can't join the Meet until the teacher's in there, again, for safety and security. So here with the Google Meet, it's there visible for the student, but the student can't get into it until the teacher is in. And I know some of you, I had deleted on my slides about that Google Meet, but some of you said, oh, you use it. So I will put that information back in then. And again, as you know, Diane said, this is a lot of information. we could go on for 2 to 4 more hours, but where the real learning will occur is when you start using this with your students. You will make mistakes. Let them know you're learning this as you're going, but I think you'll get it. You'll get there. Just remember to breathe. So I went ahead and put more information there about the Google Meet as well. So if you do want to learn more about the Google Meet, again, on my YouTube channel, I do have some information or a workshop that I did cover Google Meet on, so you can take a look at that. So again, good luck to you as you are on your journey with remote learning with your students. And I know at District 87, you've got a great support system there. So don't be afraid to reach out to other teachers to get help, have your students help you. And then feel free at any time, the Learning Technology Center and I can support and help in any way possible. If you have time, on the very last slide deck, I do have an evaluation. I think it's 4 questions long on slide 92. Feel free to fill that out too if you have some time. It's here on slide 92. And if you click on it, it's a Google form. And I think it's 4 questions. Yep, 4 questions. If you have time to fill that out, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, I will go ahead and stop the recording. And if other people have questions,